My dear students, let me welcome you for this e-learning class. Today we are going to discuss the scalar and the vector chapter, and today's discussion about the part 4. In earlier the 3 we completed what is the meaning of the scalar, what is the meaning of the vector, classification of the vector and the vector addition. And what we are going to discuss today, which we have written, that is the today's goal. The first one is the recapitulation, means what we have discussed in the last 3 classes. Next is the parallelogram law of vector addition, its geometrical method and its the analytical method. Next is the polygon law of vector addition, then relating the parallelograms of the analytical with its the previous, which is the triangle law of vector addition. We will discuss some of the problems and then I will give you some tasks for you. Let us take the pen and the paper, be ready and put the attention for the next 55 minutes. So, about the scalar and the vector, in the last class, those who are attended that one and those who are not attended that one, those who are attended, for them it will be the rehearsal, and for those who are not yet attended, they will know something which they already left. The triangle law of vector addition we discussed. When the vectors to be added, for the addition of the vectors I have given you the Pandava formula. So, that addition, if the 2 vectors are taken, then that will give you the result. That result vector will be known as the resultant, because when vector is added with the vector, the result must be a vector. When the scalar to be added with the scalar, the result must be a scalar. So, when the addition is going on by taking the 2 things, in the last class I given you that how the addition we came to know in the class 1 level, and today which we are discussing about the vector, there is no difference. The basic method is the same. When 2 things are to be added, the second one to be put over the first, and for the vector addition also the second vector to be put over the first vector. When the vectors to be put over the another, there are the different cases will arise, and one is called the tal se tal mila. Not that is the song, but this is the tail with the tail, head with the head, tail with the head. These are the 3 different cases which we already discussed. So, today we are going to discuss about the parallelogram law of vector addition. So, when a law will be there, a law is always associated with a statement, like the Boyle's law, like the Charles law, like the Newton's law of gravitation. Everyone has its the statement. So, today we are going to discuss about the parallelogram law of vector addition. Parallelogram law of vector addition. Parallelogram law of the vector addition. This is our the main topic we will discuss today. So, for the law is there must be a statement. There is a statement. So, as we discussed in the triangle law of vector addition, for the triangle law of vector addition, there was a statement, and that statement we know. What is that one? For the addition, at least the 2 vectors are needed. So, for the triangle of the vector addition, the statement is when 2 vectors are represented as the 2 sides of the triangle in the same order, then the resultant will be the third side of that triangle in the opposite order. So, what is the same order? When the first vector completes, means the head is there, with that the tail to be started. Means if this will be the first vector, this will be the second vector, then at the end of the first, the second vector to be the start. When the second vector to be complete, if the third vector will be there, then that is known as the order, means in your the same way, in the same sequence, and their resultant will be it's the opposite order. This will be it's the resultant we discuss. And similarly here also there is a statement, when two vectors are represented as two sides of a parallelogram drawn from a point their resultant will be the diagonal of that parallelogram which is drawn from the same point, So, some terms here which are drawn from a point, then the resultant will be the diagonal of that parallelogram which is drawn from the same point. Means if we have taken a parallelogram, suppose I have taken a parallelogram, this is a parallelogram. So, if the two vectors, this is one vector, say this is the origin OA whose name is your the P vector, and this is your the second vector which is your the Q vector. And for your the triangle of the vector addition, this is your the P vector, this is your the Q vector. And here the statement, and what was the statement there? When the two vectors are represented as the two sides of the triangle in same order. In same order means when the one vector completes, the second vector started. Then the addition of these two will be it's the resultant. This will be it's the resultant. And it looks like a triangle, therefore the name is your the triangle of a vector addition. And here this is one vector and this is another vector. When two vectors are represented, in some books you will find that when two vectors with magnitude and the direction, when the vectors are we are written means the magnitude and direction must be there. So, when two vectors are represented as two sides of a parallelogram, in a parallelogram there are the four sides, but they represented as the two sides. Which two sides? That two sides which are the adjacent to each other, means these two are the adjacent, means that two sides drawn from a common point. So, parallelogram drawn from a point, that point is your the O, their resultant means these two vectors will give you the resultant, and this will be it's the resultant which I have written in the dotted way. So, this is it's the resultant, means the resultant is your the R vector. Why the name is given the resultant, I explained in my last episode. So, that is your the R vector. This R vector will be your the P vector plus a Q vector, and this is your the P vector, this is the Q vector which are drawn from your the same point. You see, for the P vector this is what? Can you say? That is your the tail. And for the Q vector, what will this O? That will your the tail. So, what is here? Tail se tail mila, not your the tal se tal mila. This is your the tail with your the tail, they to be your the coinciding. But what is happening here? You see, this is your the head. For the second vector, this is your the tail. So, this is the head with the tail. So, head with the tail, that addition with the head with the tail, and this addition with your the tail with your the tail, because these two vectors are drawn from the common point. And though this is a parallelogram, according to your the property of the parallelogram, the opposite sides are your the equal. So, when the two vectors are equal, I said, suppose this is one vector and this vector to be equal with which one? With the same type of the vector with the same direction and the same magnitude. Means this first vector magnitude, this second vector magnitude to be same and they to be in the same direction. Suppose this is the one vector, which one will be the similar, and this is the equal vector. You see, if this is the one vector and this is will take as the another vector, means if this is the q vector, this vector will automatically the q according to the parallel shift we have discussed. Suppose we have taken a vector this one and it to be the shifted parallelly, means similar vector if you will take here, means this vector and this vector are to be the same. Similarly, this vector and this vector to be the same. So, if these two vectors are to be added, p with here the q, this q is nothing but here this one. So, this p plus q is nothing but this p plus q. So, this p plus q, it not looks like a triangle. So, the resultant of these two vectors and the resultant of these two vectors must be the same. Therefore, the parallelogram law and here the triangle law are to be the similar. So, I just make it here the side by side. You see this p and q means this is the r, this r is nothing but here the p plus q, and similarly if you will take here the another q of the parallel shift and you will join it with this one, then this is not looks like a parallelogram. And for the parallelogram, if this is the q vector, means this is your the q vector. When these two vectors are added, the resultant, these two vectors are added, the resultant to be the same. So, if the parallelogram's geometrical method is your this one, and that will be the triangle laws of a geometrical method. So, if you will go for your the diagram on your the screen, you will find that the vector addition of your the geometrical method, and for the geometrical method you see this is your the looks like of your the parallelogram. In your the parallelogram, you see on your the left hand side, it is your the parallelogram diagram, and on the right hand side the forces which are acting on its the two ends, and if that two be your the two sides of the parallelogram, then what will is the resultant? According to the diagram, it is given that two vectors are your the a vector and the b vector. When a vector and b vector to be the added, that will is the resultant, and in that screen we have seen that resultant is your the c, but on this one we are taken it as your the r. So, that c vector and this r vector are to be the same. And next we will discuss the vector addition for your the analytical method. So, this is your the geometrical method for your the parallelogram, that was the geometrical method for your the triangle. Though I am saying was means we already discussed in our the last class. So, now we will go for its the analytical method. Sir, why it is the necessity to know about the analytical method? Analytical method means which provides the magnitude and the direction of the resultant. So, here we will not measure the magnitude and the resultant, yes, but here while you will go to measure the magnitude and the resultant, you have to take a scale, and what is its the length, what type of the unit we have taken, according to that we can calculate its the magnitude. Then we have to take a protractor, this angle will be its the direction, because this is the resultant vector, this is your the base vector, means your the original vector. With the original vector, what the angle makes, that is its the direction. For to determine that one, you have to need your the some apparatus, but if the some quantities are the provided, how we have to calculate? For that one we need your the analytical method. So, next we will discuss the analytical method of your the parallelogram law of a vector addition, but on the right side I just remaining the triangle law of the vector addition. So, for the parallelogram law of vector addition, we will discuss analytical method. Analytical method means with the analysis, how we will calculate its the magnitude and the direction. So, this is the parallelogram, this is O, A, B, C, and for the triangle if you will go for the analytical method, OAB. And here the two vectors, this is your the P vector with the magnitude of the P. If it is the vector OA vector, then it is your the P vector. If it is your the side of the analytical, means in your the scalar form we are discussing, if this is OA, then this is your the P. Then this is equals to your the Q vector, means it must have its the direction. And though for the analytical method we will take its the magnitude, therefore this is the Q. And this one is its the resultant, and this is your the R. So what we are going to discuss, we know for your the triangle law, here we have to draw a perpendicular on the extension of your the OA, and that OAB, here we have given the name is your the C there. So here OAB, from the B you have to draw a perpendicular on the extension of your the OA. So this is your the 90 degree. OABC already we have taken, therefore this name is given as your the D. Okay, my students. So this is your the construction of your the analytical method. So in the construction we have drawn a perpendicular from B on your the extension of your the OA, and whose foot is your the D. So this BD, not your the BD or the, so this BD means the name is the BD, not that type of the BD, and also you can say that is your the light. The length of the BD is your the light also, because you see this is your the DB, the DB gives you the light. So the BD or your the DB, that is your the perpendicular one, and here also your the BC or the CB, they are your the perpendicular length. So how we have proceeded in that case? In that case we have taken the triangle of OCB. And what type of the triangle it is? It is the right angle triangle. And I said that, and you know very well that if a right angle triangle to be represent, always the right angle sides name to be remain in between your the two names. Means in the triangle OCB, triangle, triangle is the triangle. Tri means your the three, angle means your the angle. So when the three angles are taken in a structure, then that is your the triangle. So if it is a right angle triangle, it always indicates that the middle one will be the right angle. You see here, which one is the right angle? This one is your the right angle, means the C is the right angle. So similarly, to find its the magnitude, we are going to find the magnitude of the resultant, means the magnitude of your the R. So why the name is the R? Resultant, means for the result the name is the resultant. When the result are coming, means by taking your the different marks, they to be your the added, and the final one will give you the result. You know very well about that one. So the magnitude of the R means this R value we have to determine. To determine that one, we have to take in the triangle ODB. In the triangle ODB, you see for this right angle triangle we have taken OCB, and here it is the ODB. But both the cases are the same. Therefore, I am writing that side and also your the this side. In your the ODB, you know this here the OB square is equals to OD square plus BD square, because your OB is your the what is hypotenuse of that right angle triangle, and in Odia that is called your the brother of your the Yudhishthir, not your the brother of the Yudhishthir or your the Duryodhan, means that is your the Karna. So the Karna varga is equals to the sum of the square of your the Adhar varga and your the Uchchata varga. So here the hypotenuse is your the H, the Karna which is the hypotenuse, the base is your the B, and your the perpendicular your distance height is your the P. So H square is equals to B square plus P square, you know, for your the right angle triangle. And here OB square means your the H square, OD is your the base, so that is the B square, plus P square means your the perpendicular is your the BD, so that is the BD square. So this is equals to OD. You see OD is equals to what? OA plus AD whole square plus BD square. And if you will go for this one for your the OCB, then what it will be? OB square is equals to your the OC square plus BC square. OC square plus BC square. Likewise, we have proceeded on that class, and here also the same way. So this is equals to OA square plus AD square plus 2OA into AD plus BD square, because A plus B whole square is equals to A square plus B square plus 2AB plus BD square will remain as your the BD square. And just rearrange OA square plus AD square, take BD square here, BD square plus 2OA into your the AD. You see OA, 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 OA is what? The magnitude of your the first vector. So what is that magnitude of the first vector? We have written that is your the P. But for your the OA vector, this is your the P vector. But for your the magnitude of your the OA, that is your the P vector mod. So that is your the P. So this is equals to your the P square plus AD square. You see, this is your the AD. That value is not known to us. So that will remain as your the AD square. Sorry, AD square plus BD square. AD square plus BD square will be how much? That is equals to your the AB square, because for this right angle triangle ADB, so this is the base square plus height square is equals to hypotenuse square, means that is equals to your the AB square plus 2 OA, OA, OA is equals to your the P into your the AD, and this is equals to your the OB square. Let that is equals to your the R, because OB magnitude we have taken is the R. So OB square will be your the R square. R square is equals to, this implies R square is equals to P square. You see AB square, AB, AB is equals to your the OC, OC is equals to your the Q. So AB will be the automatically Q. So this is equals to Q square plus 2P into your the AD. Let us take, this is your the equation 1. Similarly, here also if we will proceed, OC square is equals to OA plus AC. So OA square plus AC square plus 2OA into AC plus BC square. This BC square will be taken here. You see AC square plus BC square is equals to AB square. OA square is equals to P square. AC square plus BC square is equals to AB square, that is equals to Q square plus 2OA is equals to P. Then that will remain here the AC. So R square is equals to that much. Here, there also we have taken the equation 1. Here also we have taken the equation 1. You see, R is the resultant for which we are interested. P is the magnitude that is given for the first vector. Q is the magnitude is given for the second vector. This P is also known to us, but this AD value is not known to us. Means if this is the one vector P, this is the second vector Q, and this vector are going, means this is the angle between the vectors. And angle between the vectors, if it is the theta, if we will see in your the triangle of your the ADB, now we will calculate for triangle ADB, for the triangle ADB, ADB. Here we have to find first cos theta and your the sin theta. Cos theta formula is your the B by H. If this is the theta, B is equals to this, H is equals to this. So that is equals to your the AD. B is your the AD, H is equals to your the AB. So this implies AD is equals to AB cos theta. AD is equals to AB cos theta. For your the sin theta, that is equals to your the P by H. P means your the perpendicular. You see, perpendicular is your the BD by your the H. H means your the hypotenuse, that is equals to your the AB. Implies BD is equals to AB sin theta. So we are interested to know for your the AD. Let us take, this is equation 2, this is your the equation 3. So by taking the, putting the value of the equation 2 in your the jungle of your the 1. Sir, what is the value and what is the jungle here? You see, just I said, by putting the value of the cos theta means the equation 2. In the equation 2, that is your the cos theta. Cos theta has its the value, and if we press it, then that is the value. So for the value, lightly it is your the value. So if you put that value in the equation 1, then you will have r square is equals to p square plus q square plus 2p into your the AD. AD is equals to how much? A b cos theta. So that is equals to p square plus q square plus 2p. AB is how much? AB is equals to your the q of your the cos theta. So r square is equals to your the this much, or you can take r is equals to p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta, that's root over. So this is your the magnitude, and let us take that is the equation of your the 4. So similarly, if we will go for this one, here you will find your the value of the AC, and that AC is nothing but that is also your the q cos theta. So r square was that one, so r is equals to your the this much. And you see, this was your the resultant magnitude for your the triangle law of vector addition. This is the resultant magnitude for your the parallelogram law of vector addition. So the my discussion is here, if you will know about your the triangle law, or you will know about your the parallelogram law. By knowing this one, you can write that one, or by knowing that one, you can write your the this one. The shape and your the process is your the same, but though it has your the 3 points, but for the parallelogram it will have your the 4 points. For the 3 points we have to take in a perpendicular, therefore the 4 points we have to take in a perpendicular, but the every steps are to be your the same. This is its the magnitude, because p value, q value and theta is known. So by knowing all these values, we can find out the value of your the r. Next we will go to find the direction. Directions we have taken in your symbol of your the alpha, as in your the triangle law also. For the triangle law, if this is the base vector, this is your the resultant, this angle is its the direction, and that we have taken is your the alpha. Here also, if this is your the one vector, this is your the second, or this one will be the, and this is your the parallelogram one, and this is its the resultant. This is the first vector. If it has the magnitude p, this is your the q in the vector form, that is the p vector in the vector form, that is the q vector. Between these two vector, the angle which we have taken, that is the theta, and that one on the perpendicular, this is also the same angle with the this one. If total one is the theta, here this one is the theta, but the direction of which one? For the resultant, and that resultant angle it is your the alpha. So to find its the resultant direction, we have to find the value of the tan alpha. What names we have given? O, A, B, C, this is your the D. So if we will go for your the tan alpha, but what is your the direction? The angle between the resultant, and the base vector. The base vector is the direction of resultant. So the angle between the resultant, this is the resultant one, this is your the base vector, this angle is your the alpha. We are interested to find the value of the alpha, so we have first taken the value of the tan alpha. Tan alpha will be the how much in your the triangle law? That tan is equals to your the p by b. So p means your the perpendicular, b means your the base. So for this angle of the alpha means in the triangle ODB. Triangle ODB. I am again repeating ODB. Suppose one will write it is the OBD. The OBD will not your the right angle triangle. You see OBD. This B angle is not your the 90 degree. So we cannot take that will be the result. That will be the right angle. So for the right angle triangle of the ODB, the tan alpha is equals to P by B, because tan means sin by cos. Sin is equals to P by H. Cos is equals to B by H. H will cancel. Then that is the P by B. So P means the perpendicular. That is your the BD, and B is your the base. That is your the OD. So this BD by your the OD. OD will be how much? OA plus of your the AD. And this value of the BD, we have to find the value of your the BD, and this OA is equals to magnitude of the P vector, that is the P is known, and this value of the AD. And if you go for your the note, you will find the value of the AD and BD we calculated in equation 2 and your the 3. If you do not know that one, again I am writing in the triangle of your the ADB. In the triangle of the ADB, you see sin theta. Sin theta is equals to P by H. P is equals to your the BD. H is equals to your the AB. Because sin is equals to P by H. P means your the perpendicular. H means your the hypotenuse. Perpendicular is BD. Hypotenuse is your the AB. So BD by AB. So BD will be your the AB sin theta. What is AB? AB is similar to that of the OC. So this AB is equals to your the Q sin theta. So BD is equals to your the Q sin theta. That we have taken in the equation 3. By your the OA is equals to the P, and with your the AD, you see this is your the AD. Similarly for that triangle, instead of the sin, let us now take your the cos theta. Cos theta is equals to your the B by H. B means your the base, H means your the hypotenuse. Base is equals to your the AD, by your the hypotenuse is your the AB. And if we make the cross multiplication, AD instead of BD, it will be the AD. AD will be how much? AB cos theta. AB is equals to the OC. OC is equals to your the Q, and Q with your the cos theta. So AD is equals to your the Q cos theta. AD will be your the Q cos theta. So tan alpha is equals to your the Q sin theta by P plus Q cos theta. So this implies alpha is equals to your the tan inverse, or you will put the values of this one, then you can find out what will the value of your the tan alpha. So on your the screen also you will find the same thing. The tan beta is equals to your the B sin theta by your the P plus Q of your the cos theta, because instead of that angle, here the angle I have taken the alpha, and in some books that angle will be the beta, in some books that angle will be written as your the gamma. Whatever may be the angle it will mention, according to that the formula will be the same one. So tan alpha will be the this one. So that one 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is equals to your the 5. So these are the 5 equations we derived by taking your the triangle of the vector addition, and this equation 5 related for its the direction, and for its the magnitude r is equals to how much? P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. And for the triangle also you will get the same thing. Tan alpha means if this angle is equals to alpha, alpha is equals to your the Q sin theta by P plus Q cos theta. So that was we derived in the last episode. This we derived the today's class, but both are here the same. Therefore I am saying repeatedly, if you know the parallelogram, you can write about the triangle law. If you know the triangle law, you can write about the parallelogram. So after knowing its the magnitude and the direction, we will discuss some of its the different cases. So for the different cases, how many different cases we discussed in the triangle law? Can you remembering that one? That there are the 3 different cases. So first one is your the case 1. Case 1. So what is the case 1? For that theta is equals to your the 0 degree. So, what is the meaning of the theta is equals to 0 degree? Theta is what I said, theta is the angle between the vectors. If the vectors have the angle of the 0 degree, means if this is the one vector, if another vector is the likewise, then these two vectors are directed along the same direction. When the vectors are directed along the same direction, the angle is your the 0. So, here means the vectors are your the parallel. When these two vectors are to be the added, how the addition will be possible? By your the geometrical method. As I said, take the first vector and put the second vector over here the first as it is, because it is directed along the same direction, means from left to right, and this second vector to be your the put over the head. Then from your the tail to your the head, you have to join it already your the joint, and the direction will from your the tail towards the head, and the direction from tail towards the head. So, this total one is its the value according to the geometrical concept. But as we know from your the analytical method, the magnitude r is equals to your the this much. You see, for this case 1, theta is equals to 0. If theta is equals to 0, then if we put in the equation of your the 3, cos 0 is equals to your the 1. Therefore, r is equals to p square plus q square plus 2pq cos 0 is equals to your the 1. So, that square. So, this is equals to p plus q whole square root over. So, whole square root over means the same quantity. As we know, x square root over means x square root over means to the power of the half. So, these two is cancel, then this is your the x. So, here also p plus q whole square root over is your the p plus q. So, r is equals to your the p plus q. R is equals to p plus q means what is the p magnitude? What is your the q magnitude? That two magnitude to be your the added. You see, according to your the geometrical method, when these two are the added, means the resultant is your the greater size. So, that resultant will be the addition of their magnitudes. That is your the equation 5. Let us take this is the equation 6. Similarly, if we go for your the second case, case 2, for your the case 2, when theta is equals to your the 90 degree. When theta will be the 90 degree means what is the meaning of the 90? I said they are perpendicular. When these two vectors are perpendicular, suppose this is the first vector, this is your the second vector. When these two vectors to be the perpendicular, if we will add them, because we are discussing in the addition, when these two vectors to be the added means, so this tail and the head to be the coincide and they to be the joint. So, what they looks? They looks like a right angle triangle, because the theta is given as your the 90 degree, and there the theta was your the 0. Therefore, they are taken in this way. Sir, only in this way only the vectors will taken? No. Suppose this is your the one vector, this is your the second vector. The angle is the 0. So, if we will add them, this vector to be the put over this one. So, this is equals to your the total vector value. So, for your the second case, when theta will be the 90, this is the p, this is the q. Sir, that is the p vector. Why you have written p? Because here we are going to find the magnitude. For the magnitude it is p, for the magnitude it is the q. Though it is the right angle triangle, this hypotenuse will be the this square plus this square root over. That is the geometrical method. And for your the analytical method, you know r is equals to p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta root over. When theta is equals to 90, this implies cos 90 is equals to your the double c. Sir, cos 90 is equal to double c. How much? How, sir? You see, double c, this is the 1c, this is the 1c. If we join, then that is the double c, which is the 0. So, cos 90 is equals to 0. So, here theta is the 90, cos 90 is equals to the 0. 2pq into 0 is equals to 0. 0 is added with any quantity, the result will be the same quantity. So, that is equals to your the p square plus q square root over. So, this is the analytical method, this is your the geometrical method, both are your the same. So, this is your the equation 7, 6, 7. Then if we go for the case 3, when theta is equals to your the 180 degree. Sir, what is the meaning of the 180 degree? When they are opposite. Sir, how one will be the opposite? Suppose I am looking towards you. So, if I will make the 90 degree, so this is my direction is the 90 degree. Again I make the another 90 degree. So, from my previous direction to now direction, both are not in your the opposite one. So, for the opposite, how many angles I cover? First I cover 90 degree, next I cover 90 degree. So, when the vectors are your the making of the angle 180 degree, means they are opposite. Means if this is one vector, opposite vector will be the likewise, their direction will be the opposite. So, when these two are the added geometrically, this vector to be put over this one. So, this vector will put over this one, it will come up to this side. So, from this to this is the vector addition. So, you see for the 180, cos 180 is equals to the minus 1 you know. Therefore, r is equals to p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta root over. But cos theta is the cos 180, that is the minus 1. So, this is the p square plus q square plus 2pq root over, because cos theta minus 1 into 2pq is equals to minus 2pq. So, this is equals to your the p minus q whole square root over, that is equals to your the p minus q. So, r is equals to your the p minus q. This is your the equation number 8. So, this is your the 6, this is your the 7, this is your the 8. So, these 6, 7 and your the 8 if you will compare, you see the 6 is equals to your the p plus q and it is your the p minus q. So, p plus q is your the greater value, p minus q is your the less value. So, when the vectors to be your the added, they never provide you the single value. That value always depends upon what is the angle between them. So, for the case 1, when we have taken the theta is equals to 0, for the case 2, the theta is equals to the 90, for the case 3, the theta is equals to the 180 degree. So, from this we concluded that when the vectors are in the same direction, the resultant value is your the maximum. When they are in the opposite direction, the resultant value is your the minimum. After taking the 3 different cases, we know that the resultant is always depends upon the angle between that two vectors. So, after knowing this one, if we discuss some of your the numericals relating to that one. Suppose one of the question is question 1, when two vectors with 6 Newton and 8 Newton are acting perpendicularly, then calculate the magnitude and direction of the resultant. This is a simple question I am giving. So, whenever a question is given and you will find it's the solution, there is a kind of a formula. First go through the question and understand what is its the meaning. The second one is what are the data provided. So, what data are provided? 6 Newton and your the 8 Newton, means the two forces are given. So, the first vector, let us take here the p, that is your the 6 Newton, and the second vector that is the q is equals to your the 8 Newton. So, when the two vectors are given and they are perpendicular to each other, means angle between them, So, angle between is the symbol which we have taken the theta. So, theta is equals to your the 90 degree. So, what are the given, you first write it. Next you are the asking. What is asking? Calculate the magnitude and the direction. magnitude, that is equals to r question mark, then your the direction, that is equals to your the alpha, that is your the question mark. So these are the asking data. So after knowing the known data and the asking data, you have to put your the formula. So for the magnitude, what is the formula? R is equals to your the p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta. That's root over. P value is how much? 6. 8. Q value is your the 8. So that is equals to 36 plus 64 plus 2 into 6 into 8 of your the cos 90, that root over. So 36, 64 is your the 100, cos 90 is how much? That is a 0. So 2 into anything, that is equals to 0. So that 100 root over, that is equals to your the 10. So the magnitude is your the 10. So though they are in the Newton, means that is in the Newton. So the R value is calculated. Next is your the direction. To find that direction, what is the formula? Tan alpha is equals to q sin theta by p plus q cos theta. So q is equals to how much? 8. Sin theta is equals to the 90 by p plus q. P is equals to how much? 6 plus q is how much? Your the 8 of your the cos 90. So this is equals to sin 90. Sin 90 is equals to 1. 8 into 1 is equals to 8. That is 6 plus 8. Cos 90 is equals to 0. So 8 into 0 is the 0. 6 plus 0 is equals to the 6. So that is equals to your the 8 by your the 6. 8 by 6 means that is equals to your the 4 by your the 3. So tan alpha is your the 4 by 3. So alpha is equals to tan inverse of 4 by 3. And that is its the angle, and after taking its the anti-logarithm, you will find the value of the alpha. So this is the one of the simple question I given, and some of the home tasks I am giving to you. The question number 2. When two equal vectors are providing a resultant whose magnitude is same as one of them, then calculate the angle between the vectors. This is one question for you. So when two equal vectors of the giving the resultant, two equal vector means just hints I am giving you. If one is the p, one is the q, they two be are the same. Let that is equals to the x, and providing the magnitude as the same one of them. So r is also your the same. So p is equals to q is equals to r, they are the x because they are same. Then calculate the angle between them. So how you have to calculate the angle between them? Means you know that the alpha is equals to your the q sin theta by p plus q cos theta. Can you put this one and you will calculate that value? No, that will never possible, and first you will put r is equals to root over of that one. So if we put r is equals to root over of that one, because r is known, p, q are known, put that values, then from that you will calculate what is the angle between them, and the angle between them theta, that will come as your the 120 degree. Okay. So this is your the some simple questions relating to that one. Next we will discuss about the polygon law of vector addition. Polygon law. So polygon law means when more than of the two vectors are there. So for that one there is a statement. When more vectors are acting as sides of a open polygon in same order, the resultant will be the closing end in opposite order. This is like that of the triangle law, but for that triangle law only we have taken the two vectors, and here it will be the more vector means that is more than of the two vectors. Suppose this is one vector, this is one vector, this is one vector, this is one vector, this is one vector. I have taken the 5 vectors. So when these 5 vectors are to be added, means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this looks like the polygon having the more than of the 4 sides. For the 4 sides we are saying that is the quadrilateral, but if the exceeding of the 4 sides, then that will be the polygon. So what will be the resultant? You see, when the more vectors are acting as the sides of the open polygon in the same order. In the same order means one completes, next starts, that completes, next starts. You see, first completes, second start, second completes, third start, third completes, fourth starts, fourth completes, fifth starts. Then what will the resultant? Just the resultant will be the closing end. You see, this is the closing end, and that closing end in opposite order. So this one means if this is the O, A, B, C, D, E, means O, A, B, B, C, C, D and D, E to be added, the resultant will be the OE. So OE vector, this is the final value. OE vector will be the OA vector plus AB vector plus BC vector plus CD vector plus DE vector. Sir, how it is possible? You see, when these two vectors first to be added, this will be the resultant, and this resultant will be according to the triangle of vector addition. This is equals to the OA plus of the AB. These two addition is equals to this one to be added with the OC, and what is this OC value? OA plus AB, then plus of the BC, and this one is completes here. Another vector, this is the resultant, this vector starts here. When these two be added, that will be this one, and this one will be how much? This plus this, OA plus AB plus BC with here the CD, and this vector ends here, next vector starts here, and this is the resultant. For this resultant, it will be this plus of this, and this is how much? OA plus AB plus BC plus CD, and this is equals to the DE. OA plus AB plus BC plus CD, then this is the DE, that is equals to OE. So after taking the 5 vectors, if we add all of them, and it looks like a very smaller one. So it is one type of the amazing calculation coming when more vectors are taken together in the vector form. The resultant may be the more, may be the less, but in the scalar form, if you add the more numbers, the result is always the greater. Okay, my students, so with this we came to know about the parallelogram of vector addition and the polygon law of the vector addition. Try to find what is the angle between that vectors I given in the task, and I already written that is the 120. You try yourself. Thank you very much and keep study.